Hello everybody, and we are live and going to watch the Corona Chess Wars team battle. As usual, I'm busy losing some rating, gain some, lose some. This is just the vibe before these tournaments. I will play against one or two of these players if they want to play. Just challenge one or two of them. Some of the top players. I don't think this guy's even online, but maybe Kenny will play a game. Or Freddy. Freddy's not online. We'll see who's online and challenge them to a game. This is Kenny as far as I know. And I think I'll challenge him to a game of 3+0. Slim William. And maybe Louis Havenga or... I don't know, Kenny's still in his game. He should be finishing now. His mate in 2 or 3. And then we'll see if he... if he wants to play a warm-up game against the Ostrich. Western Cape is looking fresh today. KZN is new in this battle, and they are looking to take this one home. I heard them saying they want to take the tournament for themselves today. So Kenny's not. I think he's playing another game or something. Yeah, he just started another game. So let's challenge. Sorry. Let's challenge Louis. And if no one in the top 10 accepts, I'll quickly just start a blitz game of my own. Or I can actually challenge a few people at once, I guess. But isn't Shoei number 2 maybe Kenny? I don't know. Let's see. We'll see who accepts. Shoei number 2 we've got. And Shoei number 2 has joined. Let's see how this goes. H6. Okay. This is just normal Roy Lepere stuff. I play the Norwegian. He can be very aggressive actually and go take on f7. But you all know this line by now. King takes and knight takes check, and then the trick is to go to e7 instead of like something else. e7 is the trick because queen check really hurts me. So he's thinking about it. He goes for it. We'll just remove this because we know the line. And queen e8. So you castle your king and queen. Switcheroony. Okay. What's up, Ironics? It's nice to see you here. Oh my, what am I doing? I'm trying to make the... Let's play, I'm there, you're there, from Oliver Tambo. And that's great. Okay, we can play a game after this. Just send me a challenge. South African Ostrich. And this line is perfectly equal, actually. If I defend well, I should be better. Showy number 2 is being a bit showy-ish, show-offish. So that's why he went for this line and successfully castled. Did a little switcheroony, little bomb cloud action over there. Now it can become tricky. So there's things you need to bear in mind. Like for instance, my knight is on a5, a bit strange. I'm up a piece. My king and queen have switched. So you don't usually consider the fact that queen h5 is a possibility, but after something like h6 bishop here, g5 bishop there, I can try queen h5 to try and trade down queens. So let's go for it immediately. And I should be okay. Oh, you're ironic. And Jonathan Livingston asking a good question. Is Oliver Tambo still closed for flights? Let's play queen h5, or let's just even play h5. Let's switch the momentum of the game. Because I've got a queen and a rook already aimed at this side of the board. That's a nice move though. It's a very nice move. I guess if I capture, it's still fine. And now... I don't want to play this move really. So... I actually played this wrong. He found a nice move. E6, and then after the knight moves, E5 is actually quite a problem. But you know what? We'll deal with E5 as soon as we get there. We'll deal with E5. He's gonna go knight here. Okay, maybe I just blundered. I don't know. I'll move my knight away after the knight moves, because I need to try and trade before E5 comes. So E5 is a pretty huge move for white. Preparing to bring in the rook. He's quite low on time, showy. But it will be a very aggressive game after E5 happens. Maybe I should prep for E5, play bishop E7, and meet it with simply going D5 myself. So we'll do that. There's still a square for my knight over there. Yeah, there we go. I think I'm misplaying this really badly, but I don't want to get slaughtered too badly, so I'll just defend this point. Maybe I've potentially got the move H4. I think H4 now or never, really, or just C6. This feels bad, but I'll go for it. Any bad discoveries he can play with a knight, I'm not too sure of. Okay, he goes for a sack exchange. I think he needs to do something like that. We'll just push him back a bit. And what to do? Rook here. Just some more pressure on that knight. And finally a queen trades. I'm very, very glad for that. I think he blundered the queen trade. I don't think he wanted a queen trade necessarily. So where to go with my knight? I'll go here. That's cool. I think even if the knight moves... Oh, shucks. Okay, so I blundered back some material now. Okay, it's still fine. It's still fine. I think something like this is very cheeky. Tricky end over here. Going into flag nation. Okay, so I've got better material, but this guy's quick. I can already tell you that. Let's take over here. Got to pass the A pawn, and the bishop is very far away. Too far away to deal with the problem of me making a queen. Check. Let's get rid of this guy and mate. Okay. Mr. Ironic, he wants a rematch. I don't know, is there time? Let's play a rematch. I'll give the guy a rematch. Okay. Come, Mr. Showy. Show us what you've got. And then I guess the tournament will start. Okay, so... he goes for H6. I don't know. H6 hasn't felt like the strongest line in my opinion. Bishop F1's necessary, and then I'll play something like D3. Just simply trade, or... Going queenside castles is never... I think never a good idea in the two knights, especially since the B file is open. Okay, so let's play G4. Bishop G2. This guy is coming at me now. He wants revenge. I can feel it in the style of his play. Okay, thanks Ironic. Knight G3, actually, I'm even considering castling kingside. It seems strange, but I'll do it. I've got a relatively safe setup. Trust me, if you get a position like this in the two knights, black is very sad, even though you've opened the G file. I don't think black is too happy with what has happened. Let's just get rid of the annoying knight. Put my knight on the outpost. And then we will start playing the game. A lot of the two knights is just getting back into the game and finding ideas of your own. I guess this is a bit of a questionable move, dropping a pawn. Yeah, it's a very questionable move. But I've got such a great pawn structure over here. If I can transition into the endgame, I would just be so happy. So I actually, in fact, f4 was just a blunder. I did not see the fact that rook and queen could take. I already felt that something was questionable about it after moving it, and it kind of just exposing my king more. But I kind of just thought, well, my king will go to h1. There's only one pawn in front of my king anymore. And I do have the open g-file. But it's not like the g-file is opening itself. You'll need to play like a rook lift or something to start exploiting the g-file. Okay, are we going to trade into an endgame? Do I think I can hold an endgame against this guy? I don't know. I just would like... I think I'd like an endgame. I think I'd like the endgame, yeah. Let's try and go for one. What would be the blunder after knight takes queen check, bishop here? Is there anything really bad happening? I don't know. It feels fine. This is actually a very bad bishop. The knight's loads better, so I shouldn't really trade. Ooh, this feels nasty. I'm just trying to shift into his camp because it feels like I've been defending for quite long. I'm getting pretty bored of it. So go bishop takes, so I have a knight in this game. I didn't see his first check, so we'll do this. That check is covered for now. I'm hitting a pawn. What else can I try and do? I don't know, my king is also pretty exposed. Let's go for the pawn. Is that too greedy? I don't know. It feels pretty greedy. He still only has one check. Oh, he's got this check. Oh, he's got that check as well. Okay. But now his queen is becoming quite distant from his king. So I think... I dropped the pawn again. This is not too great. This isn't too great for me. What to do? I'll give him the burden of proof for the position. I'll let him decide what to do. Oh no, that's not a good idea. Whoa, why am I even doing all of this? I think if we go to the endgame, I'm still okay. So let's just try and not lose on time. This is now or never. Okay, we made a draw, second game, and the tournament will be starting soon. Thanks, Shoei, for the games. Let's just take a peep at what was the evaluation. This is pretty equal, but it felt like somewhere I had a gap. All of this was just equal. Let's see what the computer says. Yeah, I did not have a lot over here. I think my advantage was at most round about here somewhere. F5 gave it away. Give it away, give it away. Okay, yeah. So at most this was the best I got. Queen g4 or queen h5 or something. F4 was a weird move. And then we played pretty perfectly. This looks good for a blitz match. Looks like we both cheated. Okay, let's see what is happening. And Matt Pon is joining us. Mr. Schwarstier, can someone please... Yeah, gone for perpetual, yeah. It was a bit scary there with the time control. By the way, Matt Pon, Schwarstier. Does anyone know who Schwarstier is? We've been wondering for a while. I can ask Matt Pon quickly before the tournament starts. Who Schwarstier is. Because he always has this high rating, but he never does too well in the Corona battles. Then we had Freddie Widdendal, Slim Williams. I'm not sure between Shoei 2 and Slim William, and General Blackjack. These three accounts, I think they're all Kenny Willenberg. So it's making the team look very fris. He'll probably withdraw all three accounts if it's him, right before the start of the tournament. And I'm curious to see what KZN will get up to. Dr. Shabir. And let me know if the stream, if there's anything wrong, or before we start, because I can't change stuff as I'm going, I think. Or I can still, but it will just disrupt the stream. So I'll quickly ask Matt. I like the fact that Matt's playing a bit more. He would have, if it wasn't for the lockdown and everything happening now, he would have been overseas now playing some tournaments. So he's kind of stuck playing South African online events at the moment. He did stunningly in yesterday's Mandela Day tournament. I couldn't guess which one of the Matt accounts was his. There were a few guys playing under his name, but not a notch. They made new accounts, Matt1, Matt2, stuff like that. So yeah, I don't think he's going to respond now. He's still waiting. Oh, thanks for complimenting my hat. It's my girlfriend made this for me. She's into knitting now. It's winter time, so the little beanie with the extensions on the side to close my ears. Okay, we will start with Mr. Narchi. I think we're gonna just chill on his channel today for a long while. There is a player I'm going to feature. Maybe let's start with him so that I don't miss the game. Okay, let's start. Okay, I'm starting. Well, let's just start with Matt's game, and I'll jump to the player I want to feature just now. Matt Pon versus Louis Haventra in this game from the Western Cape, and they've gone for a Juku Piano. So Juku Piano means small, quiet game. So it's kind of like the Evans Gambit, you can imagine. Well, just it derives from the Italian, with both bishops coming out to these squares and the knights. But Matt plays theory of here. We've already discussed the fact that he likes these positions where he manages to play with a closed center and start a flank side attack. So, guessing stuff like King H2. This is how he's starting it today. He'll probably go Queen takes, F takes. Again, don't let me guess his moves. He's always too random. But this also looks like a big Tetris block. And finally, he's got what he wants. A solid knight. Louis is the type of guy to give back the exchange. And I'm guessing incorrectly. By the way, let's talk about the time control as well. It's 4+0. The Western Cape is hosting the tournament. I guess this was Kenny's doing, the 4+0. Especially because the fact I think he likes going berserk. So it's this very cool time control where when you do go berserk, you've got 2 minutes versus 4, and that's totally doable. 4 is also enough to still flag the guy. There's no increment today, so we're gonna have some solid blitz games. There's a bit of an imbalance here. Matt Pon already suggesting to Louis that they should go for the end game, suggesting a queen trades for knight here. So there's something Matt feels he can do. I think he likes the fact that he can create a pawn break, apply some pressure to the f-pawn, and maybe create a pass pawn here, or maybe even use a rook lift to start communicating with the center in the endgame. So Louis also doesn't like that too much, but I think Matt was trading into an endgame that would not have suited him as much as he thinks it would have. So Louis doesn't call his bluff, and now suddenly Matt's queen is going to be involved with a kingside attack, a flank side attack. We'll see something like knight g4, or even rook f3, or something crazy like g4 now, or rook f2 even, just defending, preparing to double. And this is still a possibility. He'll go queen h4, he might just throw the queen back. No, queen h4, keeping a pin, still prepared to go for the endgame. And that's his main point at the moment, is that he's okay to go for the endgame. Sapmasia, Matt leading as always. Yeah, we're starting with Matt's game today. He's not necessarily leading yet, he's just starting this tournament with a sky-high rating. Getting his queen trapped. Whoops. No. Delete. He's not getting his queen trapped. He's just going for queen trades in a very fancy way. Oh wait, he did get his queen trapped. Shocks. Okay, we're watching a game where Matt has only got a rook for a queen. Louis Havenga is going to start this game by egging the Narchi. He's going to drop that Narchi and it's going to go squat. Okay, give him around 0 for the tournament to start with. I don't know if we need to watch Louis convert this. I presume he's got the ability to do so. Although Matt is very tricky. I think let's just stay here for a second or two, because Matt is going to try some swindle, and if we miss it, it's going to be a shame. Because definitely he's got the ability to still swindle this. For the time being, he's just closing the position, saying it's up to you to try and open it up. And meanwhile, Louis has planted his queen on g3. I expect the knight will be traded, the queen will go back, and finally we will see something like g4, just open up the position. And I don't know how Matt will swindle it from there. Presumably he'll try playing his rooks along the g file or something, using a pin. He might just pick up the queen again. So, not happening just yet. Prepare to go king f2. That I don't think so. Queen can just take check. No. Just pawn takes, obviously. Okay, Matt's going down here. Louis is finding everything, and we'll be picking up pawns on the side of the board. Matt is trying. I don't know why. Yeah, that should be all she wrote. Come on, Matt. Throw in the towel. You're not that good. You're not that good, man. Throw in the towel. You're not going to go mate with a rook and king over there. They're going to be... well, white resigns, finally. Maybe... even here, he could have made a queen check, thrown the king back. There's not much to do. So Matt resigns. Okay, so that lets me think I'm featuring the outlier. Specifically, this guy, I think we'll wait for his next game. So I want to watch a full game of his. This guy's been growing a lot in online chess recently. So the real Frenchie Roberto is also here today. By the way, Masia, do you know who Schwastier is? The Count Schwastier. And who to watch in the meanwhile, while we wait? Let's just go back to Narchi. He's going to go berserk now. This is not a good day for him. He's playing against... I think he's playing against Jonathan Livingston here, so this is a good game to watch. Jonathan is Grot, and also in the chats at the moment. So we'll drop him some advice, although if he does stay and listen for the advice, he's gonna be pretty down on the clock. So, this is looking bleak. Yeah, there's at least not a mate, so maybe that's a good idea. Little switch. No, it's not. Shucks. There goes the queen. Okay, so Matt's getting a quick win over there. Jonathan Livingston, sorry man. Matt doesn't play around. So, yeah, I think knight f3 already here was pretty questionable. So, but I think you were moving quickly. So that's pretty much what happened. He's now playing against Dalpat. But let's go back to the tournament and see if the outlier... I just want to mention one or two things about the outlier. He's just starting against Dreamer Whalen. And going for a very perkish type thing, still keeping the structure open. Sorry, Jonathan, we already watched that. It was short, so... yeah, you pre-moved your knight, I think. So... But Matt's sneaky. After you went f4, he just played e5 in any case. He's the guy that pre-moves e5 and just gambits away the e5 pawn. I like doing that as well. Okay, so for the time being, we are watching the outlier. Who we can see over here is Mr. Atinkosi. Atinkosi is Sajini. Sorry, I struggle with the surname, Sajini. And this player has recently really done a few good things online. Like, actually, if you were watching some online chess, you would have seen his name come up a few times. Although his online rating isn't that big, you might remember him from the USA's B section. I think last week, he was actually just really beating me silly, like dizzily. I went berserk against him, and we made a weird draw where I only had a pawn, I was about to flag him, and then he stalemated me, so that was really good for him. But he's also taken down Keith Kachande, the Eagle himself, and drew with Andrew McInnes in the last SA Uni tournament. And he said the last tournament he played was the Boardwalk Open this year, where he won 3, drew 1, and lost 1. And he finished 5th over there, behind 4 title players in the Helderberg Academy chess tournament. I don't know, that was a tournament that was played, I think, on the 11th of July. And Daniel Caudry was playing and players like that. I wasn't informed of the tournament, but afterwards, seeing the outlier do so good, I was pretty impressed. And I think we should just be watching 1 or 2 of his games today. This guy has got some fire and potential. So, he actually, in the Helderberg tournament, he managed to beat Sunay Dutoy, Women International Master. So that's actually a pretty big victory over there. So, well done to him. In this game, we're going to hope he wins here, since I'm bragging about this guy. But I hope he does, but I'm also sure he will. Yeah, Jonathan, that last game was pretty insane. Matt Pon. At least you gave him his first victory. And 3 points to start with. Look at this nice idea. Maneuvers the knight to go for the d4 square. He's playing against Mr. Dreamer Whalen. And I'm not sure who that is. But the outlier over there, Atinkosi, representing Nelson Mandela Bay Chess Union, and playing against someone from the Sari Bartman district. And this tournament is actually so special and unique because we have... we need to realize actually how special this tournament is, because it's players from every little district in our country. And although we do mostly look at Matt Pon's games, or whoever ends up being the number 1 seeded player, to see how they manage to take down most of the players, there are a lot of little special games happening, and games you would only see if in over-the-board chess once or twice a year, when the players from these districts end up playing against each other in an over-the-board tournament, which takes a lot of infrastructure and time. So players that don't usually get paired on South African soil, but all living in South Africa, battling it out in blitz games every Sunday. It's the same with university games, the USA's Blitz. And thanks, Messiah, I also saw you shared the USA's Blitz links. I'm just going to quickly share that to my team as well. I will be streaming, actually. This is the first time I'm streaming myself play the USA's Blitz. And that's going to be quite fun. I haven't streamed it before. I've always recorded it. So if you guys don't get too bored of me, you can always remain tuned into this channel. I think it's starting at 7, the USA's Blitz. But I'll be streaming back there, over there as well. Okay, so that was a bit greedy, maybe going for this pawn. Although after maybe just simply rook d6 over here. Everything would have been fine and covered. Bishop e7, maybe looking to use the file. Drops the pawn, goes for compensation, and ends up dropping the e5 pawn. Kicks the queen back. And white, with the retreating move, actually threatens to go e5 and fork the knight and rook. Therefore, Athankorsi goes back with his knight, and well, he's now just eyeing the e5 square. He'll be able to recapture the pawn if it pushes forwards. So it's not too bad yet, and now occupying the square. Down a pawn, time situation, 20 seconds up on the clock, always good. And that might actually be a determining factor. Bit of a weak f2 pawn suddenly. He says, no, let's go f4 and trade down these bishops. The bishop he maybe shouldn't have moved to a8, but now it seems like it's fine on the square, as it's now protected and the rook on b1 is not attacking it. White setting up a discovery. Meanwhile, there was a different discovery I also missed, and Athankorsi picking up on it quickly. After the f pawn moved, c5 was possible. Just the discovery check, picking up material. So he's tactically aware of his position, moves with tempo now, attacks the rook. Still a good time advantage. If he captures and manages to get in d3, that would be great, but his opponent will just simply go rook takes. Therefore, he went rook f6, pressuring the f2 pawn, now saying that when I do capture, you can't go rook takes and I'll have a passed pawn. Therefore, his opponent just trades down on a8. Doesn't need to worry about that and picks up the d4 pawn. So a bit of a tricky game here for him. Still, half a minute up on the clock. He's probably going to go rook f8, apply some more pressure to the square. He says, no, let's push that a pawn. His opponent, however, takes that opportunity to maybe trade queens, I guess. You could trade queens, maybe just a rook here, but some more pressure on the rook. Going to be tricky for him. If you do manage to trade down rook, queen, rook and, sorry, all of these pieces, you'll have a passed a pawn. So his opponent actually really needed to go rook a8. That would have been picking up the pawn. So there's some compensation still for the outlier here on a5, and he's got an outlying pawn. That pawn is a bit of an outlier, and after rook c3 or something like that, I think he will be flagging his opponent and taking home this victory. His opponent actually played really well as well. Oh no, trading for this with 3 seconds on the clock. Oh, I don't know. Those pawns can fly off the board very quickly. This might just be a draw now. Don't trade down all the pawns. Be very careful now. Don't trade down all the pawns. King takes. Play h5. Ooh, be careful. And manages to flag in the nick of time. Well done to the outlier. Let's see what the top players are up to. Me is the one. KwaZulu-Natal. By the way, how are the teams doing? Quarter of an hour gone. KZN, they're actually showing their faces over here. They are actually competing pretty solidly. And Joburg Metro, Western Cape, these guys are always in the run. The real Frenchie, Roberto, doing really well so far. And playing against Minim J. This is a player from, I think, University KwaZulu-Natal, or I've played a few times in the USA's Blitz game, USA's Blitz. So this is not an easy opponent, and he's gone berserk. +4, tricky queen trades. He could have actually. He's setting up a mating net here. That is being stopped. You need to double rooks. Rooks can be traded, but be careful. Even rook all the way back. Okay, the king escapes. Not a lot of compensation for black for the piece. The real Frenchie will be converting this, and there's the final move of the game. What else is happening in the tournament? Okay. Anachi, he's hit back so far. Playing against Andre N57. Don't know if you guys know who Andre N57 is, but Matt is still in berserk mode. Still in berserk mode, and +4. He's got an extra rook on the board. How did that happen? I don't know. This guy just wins material effortlessly. Okay. Trying to see. Okay, there's how it happened. So pawn takes would have probably been fine, and this is where we are at the moment. Matt with an extra rook. He's also going to be walking away with this win. There he now picks up the knight. Don't even dream of defending the knight, because then your queen will be going to shit. And that does happen, and white resigns. Okay. The real Frenchie in the lead, berserking and just winning this whole tournament so far. Matt Pon on his tail. These guys usually dominate the Corona chessboard team battles, and it's a bit of a perpetual situation. If white really wants it, if the king goes up, that looks like a mate in 2 or 3. Okay, it's king check. King can run pretty high up the board, but no one thinks that's a good idea. So, meanwhile, he brought in the knight right here, saying if knight takes, check, and I can still recapture the knight or something like that. And now this knight is being very, very slippery, setting up, trying to help set up this net of check. I don't know, check, yeah, and then wait a minute. Not only do we miss mate in 2s, but Roberto does as well. So now he kind of finds it. He'll go rook takes, and actually the game can go on a bit longer now after rook h7. If there's a knockout blow, okay, that's mate. Oh, the queen was also under fire, so it's still a knockout blow. Well done to the real Frenchie, Matt Pon, and the real Frenchie. They were actually really battling to find that first spot in the tournament last time around. I think that was probably 2 weeks ago. I did not commentate last week's battle. I was busy watching the Olympiad selection, and I think Calvin Klaassen was actually streaming that event. But we have a few people streaming today, so this is actually good, because there's just too much chess happening in this one tournament. I mean, as I was saying earlier, there's hundreds of games being played, and commentary on any one of them is special and necessary. Okay. Queen takes e6 is being threatened. Just picking up the knight. That's been covered. Hacker Souls, the hacker. Bishop takes h6. The pawn is pinned. And it's pretty satisfying watching Matt Pon, because you know you don't really need to watch the guy go down. I think that's why people like watching strong chess players. They know they don't need to see any losses, so they can feel what it feels like to win themselves. I'll just move the board a bit. I don't know why I'm moving it. Okay. The Western Cape, they're discussing Matt at the moment. Wow, what a nice find. A knight f6 check. And there's no mate just yet. Just goes for the material. He'll find the breakthrough soon, though. I think part of it might have to do with the e6 pawn after bishop takes. Pawn takes, check, king here, rook e1. e6 is going to be very, very slippery. Yeah, I see. I'm going to be live for the USAS tournament. I haven't been live for it ever before, so this time I'm definitely. If you beat me, I can't go edit it out afterwards, and pretend to have a bad internet connection or something. So tonight's the night to beat me, really. Okay, queen takes g7 check. This is obviously going to Matt. I'm not seeing a lot of counterplay. And game should be over in a second. 2. If you guys have any requests, players you guys would like to see, Okay, so black actually slipped his king into the king side, and tactically quite alert because he's not dropping material just yet. So Hacker Souls, actually, this guy is finding a way to stay alive. A great game. I still think he'll be losing, but well done for the counterplay. Sorry. The dog just wants to be part of the stream always. Hey. He just wants to come in to see what I'm doing and then gets bored and wants to leave again, so I don't want to open for him as well. Okay. Wow, Matt is not converting this just yet. Well done to Hacker Souls. This is, if you can manage to nip some more time off on the clock while not giving away any material, you'll just be doing yourself a favor. Going into a time scramble now is what you really need. Going for the endgame, I'm not too sure. Keep the queens on the board. Okay. Now you just need to make do. Matt's going to probably just sack back. He could have given back the exchange, been up 2 pawns. They're very healthy pawns, can just pre-move them up the board. That's what I thought might happen. Instead, now he's actually... The game's still going on. This is pretty insane. The game's going on. Doggy is the stream mascot. Yeah, he is. He likes an ostrich. Okay. Go. Yeah. Hacker Souls, I'm actually quite surprised this game is still going on. This is if Matt ends up losing this, he's gonna... I'm hoping Hacker, this guy, has got some insane pre-move style or something, because he can just pre-move. He just needs to move really quickly now. So I'm rooting for Hacker here. I know he's down a lot of time already. Give that check, give that check. Oh yeah, there you go. Move the rook. Yeah, you've got a fork, you're threatening a fork. Oh, that would have been cool. Rook d2 and he would have had this fork. Now he just blundered his rook. And that's the game. Oh my word, Matt really needed to fight over there. Well done to Hacker. I'm really impressed. That was an impressive display. Navigating through that position and coming back, at least heading the game into time trouble is what he should have been doing. We have Hans Stein playing as well. Hans Stein, as we all know, this is the guy that plays chess in the bars, and he will beat you while he's incredibly drunk. And you are incredibly drunk. I think with some drinking games involved, he's probably the strongest in the country. Although I think Cordy would like to challenge that statement probably. And maybe some university students, I don't know how good Lefu is, or if he's heavily into drinking or anything, but I think there's a good tournament that still needs to be hosted. Bishop a6. Well, here's a nice square for the bishop, especially after a5 has been played. a5 also usually a move to secure a piece on c5, and there will be no queenside action anymore. And Matt now switches attention to the king side. Has shut down the queen side. And now the bishop is coming back for some king side action. That's a pawn, but then you need to consider, I guess there must be something after takes. Knight takes now. Hitting your knight. Is there? Yeah. What is Matt's idea? That's a bit insane. I don't believe that. Trying to create a pin and then going back for the piece. Somehow it's just going to take too long, I guess. Maybe in some weird universe, but if the king just moves, it just needs one move to get out of it. In some weird universe, knight g3 would have worked. Maybe with a pawn over here and another piece in the corner, keeping the king here. I don't know. But then that would have been a mating idea. So Oliver Ashworth, sorry. Be careful, the second is now very weak, so you need to do this just to keep that rook out of the second rank. Knight e5, and what's the downside to knight e5? Matt hasn't actually got anything in this position, it's completely equal. Both sides still have their bishops, pawn structure symmetrical. Goes knight h5 in the middle of this chaos, or actually trying to make this chaotic somehow by placing the knight on h5. One of the points is that the knight can't be challenged, because then you'd be giving up the f4 square. So a lot of thematic ideas, not necessarily out of this opening, but just in chess positions in general. You need to notice the fact that Matt has played bishop a6 and has been running this bishop around for a while, but especially the bishop a6 move, and also stuff like knight h5, heading for f4. These are thematic ideas and little motifs in a lot of strong players' games. And sometimes it feels like when you don't have an idea, you go for one of these motifs. So you at least need a motif, I think, or knowledge of them. And another little motif was to play something like a5 to secure the piece on c5. Rook's doubling. Finally, has Matt got something? I doubt it. Even if the knight moves, there can just be liquidation on e1. Maybe now... Okay, I was thinking maybe some tactics alongside e4. Matt says, no, we're going to kick this knight away. And we're going to trade, and somehow I'm going to win this endgame. He's evened up on the clock. Actually, he's up on the clock now. Starting with 2 minutes against 4. This is now his advantage. Not something over the board. Actually, this is still very equal. Very equal. His opponent should be making moves sooner. Okay, so the knight's going to g6, and now his opponent says, let's trade and end this game. At least the game will be easier to figure out with less pieces, less to calculate, but that's actually not always true. You'd hope so, but now f5? Wait. f5 right over there for white or black would have helped a lot. Matt's happy to have a knight over here. Okay. And just liquidate, just get rid of some material. You're not going to draw this against Matt anymore. Your time's too little, and he's got a knight. Unfortunately, Oliver is going to go down on the clock. This is a completely drawn endgame. Ooh. Wait a minute. Has he blundered the game away now? I think, well, he's still got opposition. There's not enough time for Oliver. He's going to get flagged. Just push that pawn through, man. Push it through. Give a check. This is just terrible. Okay, I'm not sure what the... okay, let's just check the analysis. I'm quite curious now. But I don't think... Matt was definitely not better. So, around about here it was actually pretty equal. And I think Matt blundered the game with the trade over here. He needed to do something, because his pawn would have been hanging. So, and this is just completely lost. King has got opposition. And now e6 is also possible. And actually, not taking the pawn actually blunders the game away. But Matt also blundered kind of. He wasted a lot of time. He could have quickly made a queen like that. Okay, so back to the tournament. The real Frenchie on 29. He's gone down. He managed to go down against Minim J. That's good news. KwaZulu-Natal player. And they're doing really well still on Joburg Metro's heels. Western Cape 214. That's also, that's always respect to the Western Cape. They're always in the lead, but their players aren't necessarily always high up there. I was playing warm up against Shoei number 2, and Shoei number 2 I beat and then drew. But after playing a game against me, any player is warmed up for MatPon. I mean, you've already faced the most difficult players, so you're only just downgrading. Okay. And he's gotten 2 pieces for a rook. This is looking very promising for Shoei 2. The compensation for black would start showing as soon as these pawns started to move. Although Matt is making a different point. He says that the rooks will be playing along the file. A kingside attack is not what he's hoping for. C4 now. C4. Oh, what's that about? C4 was a free move, a free pawn shove. C4 and I don't know. I really liked C4 there for white. Okay, but still, Matt, what does he really have? Now C4 comes in any case. The rooks have doubled, but the knight on F3 is just so well, does such a good job of keeping the rooks out. And Shoei number 2, better by a mile. C5 now. C5. And this king is becoming pretty exposed. Even C6, I guess. Oh, you've got bishop b5. Bishop b5 skewers and then take on b6. So, okay. Goes for a different idea. This is I also kind of like. Yeah. Yeah. If you don't beat MatPon with 1 or 2 knockout blows, you really need to throw in those knockout blows against him. You can't play half-assed moves. You need to make the decisive moves as quickly as possible, or he's just going to hang on by a thread and find some compensation later on. I'm thinking d5 now. The pawn can't take. If queen takes, then you've got queen check and king back, and then c takes. So d5 right now. And if one of the rooks move, I think your idea is just simply d6. And all of the ideas are aimed at just trying to gnaw at this pawn structure. There we go. Shoei number 2 played a warm-up game against me, and we'll be taking down that pawn. d6 now. No doubt about it. Just simply d6. Matt's g5 is just a bluff. H takes g, and you are fine. d6. There we go. There we go. Shoei number 2, and now you can go c takes b. And queen takes a, or what is the next idea? Even 94 now. 94 would have been quite cool. 94. You can try a knight. Okay, this is also nice. Okay, rook e1. Does that do anything? I don't think so. Maybe just rook a1. Try and attack along. Oh! Oh my word. Shoei 2 blunders the rook on b1. Rook can't take. Oh, let's not speak about this game. Let's not speak about the game. This is just gonna. This is heartbreaking for Shoei. Shoei. He was crushing over here. +8. Queen takes a5. And Matt, with the swindling move, queen e4, doesn't do anything. Just need to move your rook. And the suggested move, even by the computer, is rook b4. Queen can't enter. No checks, nothing. Wow. I was thinking rook a1, g4, and I don't know. Maybe I'm not playing this too well. Threatening. You're not really threatening mate. In any case, maybe it wasn't too clear. But that is a shame. MatPon with the 4 points over there. Wait, he didn't even go berserk against Shoei number 2. And let's see what Swashdeer is up to. 3 Joburg Metro players in the lead, playing against Freddie Oudendal. I think this is a good matchup. Swashdeer, did he go berserk? No respect at all for a player rated 10 points above him. Let's just make it 8 and be precise. He's taken down Freddy 2 times in a row and drawn him once. So he says, give me less time. I want to make some more points for my team. Joburg Metro, here we go. Okay. Who's Schwarztier, by the way? I asked Matt. Does anyone else know? I'll just ask. No one seems to know. It's a strong Joburg Metro player. And if I had to put my money on it, the Mats accounts, the 3 Mats accounts, depending on who this Schwarztier is. I don't know if it's Benjamin Hercules. I think he also plays for Joburg Metro, or don't know if he's more for Sedibeng. But Schwarztier, I'm guessing, let's say it's, I don't know, who else plays chess with Roberto and Matt, because I'm guessing these were the 3 Mats. Roberto and this Schwarztier guy, and then Matt himself. And I'm thinking they did, they placed in the tournament exactly as they place in these tournaments, with Matt and Roberto placing higher. That's a mate in 2 Schwarztier just blundered. Oh my word. Freddy takes his first win against Schwarztier. I did actually not expect him to blunder. That was actually a shame, because I felt there was some pressure that Black could still exert long. But apparently not. Schwarztier gets taken down. That's going to mean a Nachi who's playing against Makeka. And up a piece already. No. Solid position. The real Frenchie. Who's he playing against? Falcon 002. So let's go back to Matt, because he's going to take the lead right now after this game. Nice to Freddy. Oh, Nachi down 2 pawns. Originally I thought he was up a piece, but he looks active. He's getting back a pawn. Pieces look well, and yeah, he's getting. Yeah, he even had Rook E7. There might have been a point to make for Rook E7. Here comes the dog again. No. False alarm. And centralized knight, weak d-pawn. And the first one to mount some pressure on the opponent's pawns. He'll be up a pawn any second now. And time situation is evening up. Well, okay. Oh, where's this knight going? Here? Oh. Be very careful now. There are a few squares where you'd be blundering your rook from, so Matt just moves the knight a few times and then it's game over. It's like, give me a knight, I'll just do a few things with it and you can resign after that. Expecting check. Or maybe another, yeah, now the check seems to hurt. But I was thinking even f5 and trying to get the knight here earlier on. Getting the knight to the square, but Matt's got insane ideas for his knight, and it's if you compare it to his opponent's knight, his knight just flies all over the board. Here it goes again. So many knight moves. This time actually comes with tempo, and wants to play. Actually, he's just going to pick up the exchange. He's equal on the clock. Up on the equal on the clock. And push the pass pawn, go for another pawn. Yeah, he's going to convert this. Knight there, that would have been met by rook takes. So this knight move, however, rook takes was possible, but after the liquidation there's knight check picking up the rook. So Matt doesn't blunder rook takes. Very, very cool. His opponent is a tricky player. Now his opponent is losing though. Not much to be said anymore. Doesn't even take the pawn. And we'll go after the pawn. He can even play check, yeah. And this is a 1 endgame. 2 passed pawns, 3 passed pawns now. And his opponent is allowed to throw in the towel now, wants to play a few more moves. King's too far to catch both of these pawns. 2 pawns that can actually help each other through. And Matt will checkmate. I don't think we need to doubt that. He knows how to checkmate with queens and stuff on the board. Dan Frank. Watch out. Here comes a Western Cape chess player. As soon as they start invading the top 10, it's tickets for other teams. They are, however, on 295. KwaZulu-Natal, where are they coming from? 45 minutes past in the tournament, and they're really doing well. Damn. This is crazy. They're new to this arena, and they really want to go take it. So, Matt in the lead. We'll watch his game. And I think we should feature KwaZulu-Natal's top player. By the way, Dan Frank, number 1 player here for Western Cape, playing with the black pieces. Trying to invade the top 10. This guy. He's an invader. Matt will play something like 97, 95. Let's see what the position looks like from this side. Yeah. And both sides have gone berserk. I'm liking the confidence there from his opponent. And Matt's position, I wouldn't say there's much to be said for it. He's maybe these last 2 moves. There might be something about getting a knight to d4. Okay, he didn't want knight d4. He just wanted the bishop pair. But he might just give it back straight away. No. Wants a dark squared bishop at least. And 1 knight. He'll keep a knight on f3, and this knight is going to win the game. Mark my words. There he trades the bishops. Double pawns for black, but not the worst of pawns. You can now play f5. Matt simply going for knight g4, queen h7 mate, and you need to give back a knight to stop this. This is some crazy stuff. Some crazy stuff. I knew that knight would be good. I just didn't know it would be so good. Whoa, knight pin. Knight can't take, queen would be hanging. Knight still can't take, queen would still be hanging, and now bishop takes f6 is a huge threat. Bishop takes f6, pawn takes, knight check, and, well, now he's going to do it, and he's probably going to pick up the queen like this. Black just resigns. Okay, Nachi definitely in the lead, 40 here, taking a bit of a lead over his friend, who's still berserking, but going down in a few games. Let's see KwaZulu-Natal's top player. What are they up to? Not in a pairing yet. This is good timing. Might be paired against the Matt. Let's see. Are they in pause mode? The real Frenchie. They lost against Roberto. Me is the one. Minim J also on that player's heels, but KwaZulu-Natal, their whole team is bringing it today. They really want the prize. So I don't get it. Why is me as the one waiting so long for a pairing? That is strange. Are a lot of players waiting for pairings? I mean, this is a huge tournament. Why? Oh, there we go. Playing against Louis Havenga from the Western Cape. Me is the one. KZN's number 1 player at the moment. In 7th place in the tournament, doing really well. And their team. Karukan, exchange variation. And their team is really, I think this is a shocker. A new team to the tournament and already in 2nd place. Looking to even take 1st place. Usually this time around in the tournament, the Western Cape is running away with it. So do we have good competition here today? Is this going to be a neck-on-neck ending? It would be exciting to see the Western Cape have to recruit some of their players they never recruit. They got a few big guns that they don't bring to the tournament. So, am I correct? The university chess starts at 6. I am correct. That's what I thought it was. I'll have to join the tournament like 5 minutes late or something. Yeah. Okay. Let's head back to Me is the One and Louis Havenga. Me is the One, Louis Havenga. Not one of them have gone berserk. Louis with a spatial advantage. He's managed to move all these pawns at least 1 square up the board. And, well, did he just drop a pawn? Or, oh, wait. Me is the One. Is this guy mad? Pawn takes, knight takes. He just wants pawns. 3 pawns for a piece. That's actually pretty beautiful. We don't see people playing like this too often. I hope it works, because doesn't go for the c pawn, likes the g pawn more because he can throw back the knight. I don't think it's going to work in all honesty, but I'm rooting for it to work. The compensation, the 3 pawns for the knight. It's nice to see players try and create initiative in positions like those. Although already he's got some things to worry about. I think the pawn can be defended. If Louis wants to be annoying, he can play bishop b5 first. Knight will fall back. I'm getting a boo from Sepatu. Why? And Louis finds the correct move here. You can't take the knight. Bishop takes check, picking up the other knight. So moves the king instead. What happens after rook takes? I've got a feeling that Me is the One will be going down in this game. I really like the idea of going for the 3 pawns. I'm just not too sure of it. Louis, is he afraid of rook takes? What is the idea? Actually, I don't know. After rook takes, what is there to be afraid of? Check? Just move your king. Yeah, Me is the One. Do you know the guy? He's going down now. We'll watch the last few moments. I think he should be resigning by now. Wow, Louis actually, maybe he mustn't resign because his opponent is very unsure of himself. Retreating the knight instead of going for rook takes. Oh, there's this fork. But that's not too bad, right? You can just play your rook back. So who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Why this is happening? Why this pawn is untouchable? This pawn is just, there's some chaotic force defending this pawn at the moment that I'm not understanding. It's defended by well, okay, there we go. It's taken finally. And I think after that pawn's taken, there might not be too much for Me is the One anymore. Knight d6. Nah. Louis is going to convert this. No, I was going to say the weird nature in which Louis was leaving the pawn. It felt like there was some protection spell cast over it. You can choose 1 square on the board your opponent cannot capture, and you cast a spell on it, and both sides have got a square. It would be stupid to kind of pick a square like h8 or something. Choosing something in the center also seems to make sense. What's happening here? Whoa, Louis wants 2 pieces. Man, Louis is just toying with this guy now. Or he just doesn't know how to win a game. Whoa, 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 whoa. Guys, this is why we're watching this guy's games. How has he even got this position? He's supposed to be just being like he's supposed to be crushed earlier. Materially, he's equal now. He was down a piece, and maybe Sapato, you should boo the guy even more. 'Cause it seems to be helping him. He's up on the clock. He's made a passed pawn. He's got Rook D2 incoming, trying to push that pawn. Rook D2 in any case. I'd like Rook D2 because the bishop can't stop it. So pushing Rook D2 and trying to play with the rook over there. But guys, this player is he's not going down. Oh wait, what was the story over there? The knight wasn't hanging, but mark my words, if the rook can just sack himself over there for the wait, the rook's oh, this is the end of the game, guys. This is the end of the game. Just like that. Me as the one was hanging on by a thread the whole time and managed to do stuff I did not think was possible. But look at that. The rook is completely trapped. Randomly, just by knight and bishop and king. That is so beautiful. That is so beautiful. Knight, bishop, and the only other pawn over there is covering this square that would have been a graceful save. So he needs to give the rook away. Oh, we might... Ooh, wait. Hold... I'm just going to shut up. H4. Bishop here. And... Whoa, this might just end up being a draw. Guys, this me is the one. He cursed the game somehow. It's impossible for him to lose. It's just impossible. He... okay, blundered now, but... Whoa! Okay, I'm gonna shut up. He's got a draw still. He can run his king to h8. I hope he knows it. King to h8 and run the king between these two squares. There's no getting the king away. This deserves a huge round of applause. A huge round of applause. This has been, I think, the most remarkable game so far of this tournament. Louis is going to try and flag him, but just running the king around over here should be good enough. There's no getting the king out. Now, I also didn't think the rook can be trapped with so little pieces on the board. And timeout, they made a draw. Well done to me as the one. Well done. I did not see that one coming. The rook was just trapped by like a pawn, a bishop and a knight, and then somehow, even though it was trapped, he found a line that just completely saved him. Sorry, the internet glitched there for a moment. I was saying, as soon as the rook was trapped, there was still this beautiful line that just completely saved him. Right over here. It's completely drawn. I thought the rook was trapped. This is good game, but rook takes a4. And this is just a drawn position. Doesn't matter how many pawns you have as black. If white can just pick them all up, you run your king to the corner. Nothing really matters. It's just a draw. And he managed to do so. Actually, wow. White was never really better. No, I think this game was insane. Black was doing really well over here. I don't know if you guys can see, but yeah, I think the move over there was rook e8. Oh, I like the computer. I like the computer. Rook e8, putting the bishop to the king. Just gonna exchange over there. The knight's also currently trapped. King rook pawns doing the work with the passed pawn threat. This is great stuff. This is great stuff. By the way, white would have just completely been winning over here if he went bishop takes f7. So definitely me is the one cast the spell over that pawn, and then went for this weird stuff. Who knows why? Maybe he thought his bishop wasn't defended. I think maybe he missed that. Let's get back to the tournament. I'm getting sidetracked. That was just so excitable. Let's see the standings. KwaZulu-Natal 3-2-4. Minim J and Mr. Me is the one. I think a lot of them on 23. But Dan Frank doing very solidly still. The real Frenchie on 50. He's always got relatively the same performance as Matt Pon. Really forcing him to bring his A game to the tournament. So let's dive back to Matt's game. Leonard Doom Dick. Leonard Duck. There's a lot of ways of saying that name. Okay. By the way, Matt threatening knight f5. He will be getting the queen, and that should be all she wrote. Puzzle Rush 101. Take the queen. Oh. He wants to take the queen with check, or he wants to... Was there some kind of windmill effect something? Okay, so he's +5. His opponent's got 2 knights with the queen. Not the worst of compensation you can have for a queen. 2 knights always very fun, but now bishop g5 is coming in. That is game rook d6, but you can... Okay, the game's still happening. Let me not say anything. I thought it would be over. Okay, I think he wants this. Check. Rook takes. Just looks like he's eyeing it. Yeah. 2 rooks for 2 minors. If he ends up losing this because of that last decision he made, it would be very funny. But a very nice play by Matt Pon over there. It's not the most solid way to win the game, but it's definitely the quickest way just to liquidate and try and get back to the next game. So, what am I saying? Isn't this the quickest way the most solid way? I guess it's not the most... in terms of material and holding on to the biggest material advantage, it wouldn't have been the fastest way. If you wanted to keep on to a lot of material and try and win the game like that, it would have taken a longer time. Wait, is his opponent missing something? His opponent actually missed something. His opponent had king b7. But I even think then Matt is just doing way too well, yeah. Even if you get back the pieces. So his opponent will resign shortly after Matt sacks the rook for the knight, even. He's just liquidating. Even rook e4 over there, that would have been cool. But he'll get back. He'll get another pairing soon after h6, h7. The knight's not in time to stop h8. And that's all she wrote. She's been writing a lot today, but that is all she wrote. Okay, quick game. That's what you need, a quick berserk game. Just find that tactic in the beginning, trade to the endgame, show your opponent there's nothing left to be done, get back to the tournament. Matt Pon with 54, but his buddy Roberto has been doing a great job as well on 55 points. Roberto up 2 pawns now. Pawn can't take, because then queen take, pawn takes. So he's going to be up 2 pawns. And already in an endgame, we'll play g6 and get a rook to h7 or something. Maybe this rook. And this is also going to be a quick game for a different reason, not because they're going to be trading down to the... Well, if they do end up trading rooks, it'll also be a quick game. Great move, actually, rook a4. Threatening action on h7, but as well a5. And it's all about converting that game very quickly after getting some material. So in this case, it's all about getting the rooks off. g5 even. g4. These are monster pawns. About this idea, rook all the way back. Let's kick the king back. Get rook a7, so his opponent needs to go away. Rook h7 would have skewered the rook, so check. King there, skewer, win the game. So he's going for the same idea now. Puzzle rush though, but he has king g6. His opponent missed king g6. But I think rook h7 as well. Trying rook g7. But I think he knew his opponent would fall for the tactic, and this will be game over. Roberto with a quick win as well. These guys are playing for this first prize, really going each other. KwaZulu-Natal and Joburg Metro. This is fun today. Schwarz-Stier, you got the big Joburg Metro guys in the lead. Dan Frank, Craig Willenberg, and Shoei too. These guys fighting for the Western Cape. Kenny Willenberg also showing his face. So Matt has... What's he been up to? Playing against Freddie Odendaal. He has lost the game in the past against him, so hasn't gone berserk against him this time. And whoa, it's crazy position. How? Whoa. Everything's being held onto, so bishop takes, just queen takes. Crazy. Let's just see what opening Matt played. Okay, Matt actually went for this type of Benko stuff. And very nice e6 move. I've actually seen Freddie Wittendal play e6 a few times. It actually isolates this pawn in the long run, but also opens up this diagonal, this diagonal, this diagonal, even though black doesn't have a light squared bishop at the moment. So and I wonder how me as the one is doing. Oh, did you play and chop Kenny Willenberg in the first game? What is your username, Sapatu? Freddie Wittendal, a dangerous player. Also in the SA Online chess group, so he knows what we're up to over there. Rook d3. No, Matt, what is that about? He needs to play h6 now. Freddie had an opportunity there. Rook d3. There we go. Equal material, but that's a stunning outpost. And we'll play the other rook to d3. No, I thought he'd go rook d3 here. That looks so cool. That looks so cool. But he repeated, and they made a draw. Is that necessary? I think black is actually better. Matt did really well. Okay, so this was just a draw, but what about rook d3? Knight d6 check. Oh, crazy. Okay. Oh, you J extra. You only played one game, and that was against Kenny 1984 or something. Kenny Willenberg, 1904. Oh, I see. You took him down. Nice, man. Kenny's not an easy guy to take down, but he's been dropping rating, so he's become a bit soft. Louis Havenha and the real Frenchie. I think a lot of the action is at the Frenchie's games, because if you're leading Matt Pon in a tournament like this, you're definitely bringing something special. Even though your rating's not 300 points higher as his is, you're getting in the wins, and in a very quick, exciting way. He's down a pawn here, he's gambited something. And Arten Corsi, man, where do I get the energy to stream? I don't know, man. I don't know. I like chess, it energizes me. Actually, when I was speaking about the outlier earlier, I actually had to plan to do this. Wait. I see you're in the chat now, Arten Corsi. So I had this brilliant plan to do this, and I actually forgot to do it. I'm so sorry. There we go. There we have the outlier. We featured the outlier earlier. I think he's still playing, but we'll get back to the outlier later on. So continue playing, man. We'll catch a good game of yours. Anyways, back to the stream. We have the real Frenchie down down some material, but with actually these bishops are solid. I like them. The knight needs to move now. You can't defend the knight with the rook, just simply bishop takes, and that would be game over. So the knight moves and bishop e6. Oh, bringing the queen closer. And oh, this is exciting. Bishop takes, queen takes, check, and that will be met by queen e7 and simply mate. Yeah. I don't know if the same mating idea applies now after bishop takes. I think that rook takes check, king takes, and yeah, that's also crushing, so you can't take the bishop still. Louis will be blundering away the game. I'm sure he's not happy with his position at the moment. Roberto with a stunning position. King can't actually move as well. Everything's stuck. What's black supposed to do here? Queen takes, yeah, and this is exactly what we were speaking about. Queen here and rook takes. Opening the discovery on the queen. The queen can't take the rook because it's pinned to the king. So queen here, just rook takes is game over. King moves, however, and rook takes his game over. So black resigns. Was there anything else to do here? This is like a weird paralysis. +4, +8, +9. There goes the computer. It says bishop c8. Try and throw the bishop back. But then stuff like rook c6 happens, and you can give your queen away. So that was a pretty bad situation for the Frenchie's opponent. And wow, just wow to Roberto's performance so far. Playing against Shoei 2. But Shoei 2, he took down... Wait, he didn't take down Mappon. He was very close to taking down Mappon. So this guy will be our best bet so far to take down the Frenchie. And what's up, Keith, man? It's nice seeing you here. Why don't you ever represent your chess union, man? You'd be helping them so much. Well, I'll tell you what. If you do end up joining now, we'll definitely feature some of your games to see where you end up with 52 minutes versus the 2 hours the other players started on. It's also a good tournament for berserking. I mean, 4+0 will give you 2 minutes on the clock. So that's pretty fun. In any case, someone needs to take down this Roberto guy. He's playing such nice chess over here. Look at the kingside attack happening. Nice outposts for the knight on c5, but he trades that off. Just, I think he's preparing bishop takes h3. And what's up, Lizo, man? I haven't heard of you in a long while. Glad to see you're still around. Knight f3, right? And that is game over. He's going to give a check and then mate with the queen. He's not even going to take the queen. Insane. Insane. Roberto is definitely somehow underrated, but I always catch him with a 2200 rating. He's just on fire today. This guy is not playing against Salimu. Salimu is also streaming, so I wonder what he's saying at the moment about getting crushed by Roberto. Because Roberto is doing really well. Look at the standings. 75. If you have a lead over that, like over Mappon like that, you're doing something really well. Now the time control is crazy. I guess 4+0, it's a strange time control. 4 minutes, and when your opponent has been thinking for a minute, he's only at 3, and then it's like you've berserked him, got a minute left versus the 3. Then it's a bit tricky because you usually start a 3+0 game berserk with a minute and a half, and at least by that time your opponent starts hitting 2 minutes when you get to a minute, so you'll have this weird extra minute. I don't know what your logic is about that, but the Frenchie's doing really well. I don't know. This is the first tournament that Matt's been playing in that I haven't been studying his games for so long. Oh, yeah, Lizo, you're really good at classical. Yeah, here in this position, unfortunately, Roberto blundered his... What was that, a bishop? He's threatening a smothered mate, but Salimu will see it. That would have been a little smothered mate. The queen now covers the square. Roberto's still got compensation, right? So I'm thinking if he gets an e5 and gets a knight to e4, that would... Or even bishop e4. I don't know. E4 and e5, knight e4. He's got this nice center still. Yeah, at least it's no longer 5+3. The 5+3 was a pretty... It took away some of the fun side. Okay, so his opponent... Oh, what is this? Actually a blunder? No. Whoa! That was a blunder. You had bishop takes. And bishop takes. This guy, he's not doing his puzzle rush. And he's up on the clock. Why? He just blundered back a piece, and now Roberto will be punishing him for that. Okay, so no puzzle rush for Salimu. And Roberto now is gonna probably take the win. This guy. Give him half a chance again. Give him an entry back into the game. And he will not say no to it. He's gonna smell your fear for losing the game. He's gonna smell you're starting to slip. And then suddenly it'll just be game over. Yeah, these are you don't really play blitz. I don't know. What is your? Are you one of the players that do you have some kind of rule against blitz that you teach your students as well? And are you still teaching chess at the moment? I remember last year you were coaching. I think did you coach VUT or some varsity? Um, yeah. Okay, so Roberto is not better, but he's still alive. Pawns, equal amount of pawns on the board, but you have to love Black's position over here. You can't deny the way that White has been paralyzed. I was going to say paralysis, and I think that's right. Bishop can take f1 still. Bishop e5 though doesn't really threaten anything. Tricky position, equal on the clock. Goes for the extra pawn. Maybe that was a tad greedy. I don't know. It seems fine. Roberto trying to play g5. Oh, yeah, Roberto being at 22. I don't know. A lot of people like I'm a fan of his chess. Like I've been watching it not too long actually now, just since I've been commentating and actually also been prepping for USAS. He's got g takes h6 by the way. Sorry, g takes h6, queen takes, and then the intermezzo check. He missed that. G takes h6 would have been game over, but Roberto I think is still pushing through over here. I hope he plays g takes h6 next time. He missed that. That's a bad blunder. Yo, Roberto, he's got this interesting, style of play. I just think like he's a really good player, but he tries really wacky ideas, and that's what I like in a chess player. But it's not it doesn't completely work out for him all the time. So it definitely makes for interesting games. So I think in the long run, when it ends up working out for him, I think he's still finding his form. He'll be one of the strongest. Does this work? For instance, yeah, it works. I wanted to say for instance and then give the guy some grief for having an idea that doesn't work, proving my point, but it did work. Nice, bishop move. One of the pieces needs to stop defending, so something else would have needed to be tried, but I don't think there's a different move. You have nothing against blitz. Okay, you're just a really scholarly player. Your style of very perfectionistic type of play. 80 points, guys. We have to have some respect here for this guy. He's just blowing everyone away today. I think it's all about who's on fire that day in blitz. Everyone's got their days in blitz where you're just awake and you're on it, and you're not taking someone down on their day. And this is Roberto's day. So yeah, you've got like this scholarly style of approaching chess, and blitz is loads of the time just against that. It's a very messy and instinctful type of play, gut feeling. But I think it also develops your classical chess, so I wouldn't say it's bad for you to play. I've also got a friend that's, I don't know if you guys know Olmaru de Villiers, that hates blitz, but he's a really decent classical player. I think he'll take anyone down in the country on a good day in a classical game. Reads a lot of chess books and stuff. So I think f takes didn't work. It felt close to working, but knight takes, and suddenly everything is crumbling. So therefore he goes queen here. He's gonna lose a pawn, but have the f file to work with. So the Frenchie playing against Panageo. Panageo, a strong player from the Western Cape. The Arbiter, yeah. Olmaru's the Arbiter. I think recently he became an 1800, which isn't the highest, but I remember a game he played against Caudry last year. where he was actually through the engine analysis he was doing, I think, -2 with the black pieces, and then obviously time trouble came, and Caudry is the blitz genius. So. Oh, and another thing I've kind of also see our players do a lot in classical games, is I'm also victim to this. We use a lot of time to get to move. You really use a lot of time to get to, let's say, like move 20, or by the way, just everyone, there's a big back rank threat over here. So I think Roberto, they just agreed on a draw, so it'll be a perpetual. There's nothing much to do here. Black's king is too exposed. Maybe in some weird world, the black king, I don't think you get out of the grips. The queen can continue keeping her in your cage over here to make a draw. In any case, we use a lot of time to get through the opening middle game and stuff like that. We don't even get past the middle game stage before we hit, let's say, less than 5 minutes on the clock in classical games. And I've seen this a lot now. Strong players as well use up all their time just to get to that stage, and then suddenly it's blitz mode and the game gets decided on the blitz half and portion of the game. So that's kind of, I think, why you really need to be strong in blitz over here. And the players also drag each other out, so it's not like one player would be blitzing through the entire game to have that time advantage in the end. If his opponent is taking 40 minutes to get to that position, he will do the same. That's why classical is just a different game, and I think a lot of us are still missing it at the moment. Okay, H3 now, come on. Okay, G3, and just simply H2. Okay, cool. There's another square for the rook on H3. Ah, nice stuff. Okay, King E7. I like the idea of King E7 just to help the rook to E8. Yeah, he wants to get the rook here. Okay, like that. Now there's just going to be some trades. He might give up the exchange or just leave the rook there. Okay, make a flight square for the king. Yeah, Lisa, you're right. Omaru is a tough customer. But in Blitz, you guys must maybe play Blitz against each other. Okay, he's not going to go... Yeah, he still got this tension. Ooh, dropping the pawn. Both pawns can drop, potentially, if white wants that. But sometimes your opponent's pawn in front of you is actually helping you defend your position, because your opponent can never capture their own pawns, which is pretty nice. It's like this little shield in front of your king. I actually lost my tab now. Okay, there we go. Okay, Roberto is still playing against this very exposed king. Wait, is this a new game? This feels like a new game. How come there's a pawn on h4? I looked away for a second. Sorry, guys. Okay, that's what happened. He went for this. And at the end of the day, wow, a3, super strong move. And that's all he needs to convert the game. That's all he needs. That's why he's doing so well today. Got this super bad position where it seems like his attack is fizzling out, but his queen that's very bad on a2. No, that's nothing. Falcon can resign. His queen on a2 that's out of the game is just escorting a pawn through. Nice game. Roberto, 80, 85. Nachi is still catching up, so I think we'll keep to Roberto because he's on fire today. Nachi, what is he up to while Roberto is waiting for a pairing? Okay, he's getting paired against Craig Willenberg. Oh, I think it's pretty good to try and figure out who the players are behind the usernames. So X Wuchenschuch is Craig Willenberg. part of the Willenberg family, playing over there for the Western Cape. This entire family, and I'm talking about, let's say, I don't know how many brothers, but these, let's even say like 7 brothers and all of their children, all play for the Steinitz Chess Club. And for the Western Cape. And Craig, I think, is one of the uncles. Definitely one of the stronger Willenbergs over there. So it's nice to imagine the over-the-board game over here with Ruperto and Craig. Craig is also a blitz addict. He took down, I think, Matt Pon a few Corona Chess 14 battles ago. So just to give you an idea, this guy is pretty strong. And white has already made some kind of weakness. I don't know. It's probably not the end of the world. Just like to see how they develop in the next few moves. So I know it's kind of funny that I'm referring to him taking down Matt Pon a few USAs ago. Like it's this big prestigious thing to do that I'm remembering it now a few weeks later, but that's the strength at which Matt tends to play these tournaments and blitz in general. Wow. Craig looking to open the G file, and if you want to avoid that, you're going to have to give up a pawn. Therefore D6, trying to get the bishop back here, I think, if rook G8 check. So there the G file suddenly closed, and I'm thinking F4 now. F4. F4, try to keep the knight out of F3. Roberto says no, let's go for a pawn that will be very awkward to defend. But maybe not. Maybe rook D5 is just an okay move. He's going to maybe throw his knight back. No, trades and trades. Knight B6 check a few moves ago. Let's quickly see. Yeah, this is a good idea. Knight B6 check. Nice find. Knight B6 check. But I think maybe... No, Knight B... Yeah, the king can go to B7 and then the rook is also in time. So check, pawn takes over here. Don't take the rook, just go king B7 and you've lost a piece as white. So Knight B6 check doesn't work. Unfortunately, would have been a great idea. Meanwhile, I don't like what Roberto is doing. He's going to get totally cramped into this position, though it's not that easy to take advantage of this knight that's been pinned. You need a knight on D2 or something. And as soon as you move to F3 to go there, king goes to G2, he's out of the pin. What you can maybe hope for is that white puts his rook in a position where, okay, not anymore, that's not happening now, but whatever, let's just go back. Let me just say what you could hope for. After rook here, and that you can kind of hope for that white puts his rook, let's say, on D2. Then you've got the sack. No, do you have the sack? No. So there's nothing to hope for. So therefore he goes for some pawns. Craig up 3 pawns. Equal on the clock. Roberto, is he going down here? I don't know what you guys think. He's a bit of a magician today. But he's not doing the same kind of magic as... Where's that KwaZulu-Natal player now? He was doing some magic tricks over there just now. What's the username? Oh, it's actually in the comments. I can try and find it. Oh, the me the one, something like that. Me the one, yeah. Craig playing very neatly over here. Still equal on the clock. The only thing Roberto needs to do is run down the clock a bit more. Just make this confusing enough for Craig. That's the only thing he needs to do now. Whoa, nice tactical find there. Rook takes and knight a3 check. So can't take, just be liquidating, and there he blunders. And Roberto goes down. Okay. What is happening in the tournament? He's in pause mode. I think he's just... No, he's not in pause mode anymore. Matt is on 68. Still quite far behind. By the way, anyone else... I've been asking this the whole stream long, but who is Schwarstier? I really want to know who Schwarstier is. Schwarstier, I'm curious. Because I think he was the other Matt pawn yesterday. Panageo, Roberto, Panageo, this guy, he's a bit of a slayer. So he is kind of part of the David and Goliath narrative. Takes down all these tough opponents, loses against all the weak ones. He can take down tough opponents, but not easy ones. Plays for the Western Cape. 17th position at the moment. Is he going to take down this tough opponent, who is the real Frenchie? And while this is happening, I actually need... Oh, I can't do that. Panageo. Isn't it the part of this Panageo Figaro? One of the Queen song, Bohemian Rhapsody. What did they say there? Did they say Panageo? I think so. And he's a bit. He's doing. I like his position. Roberto's gone for something strange again. Using his king to defend the f7 pawn, but he'll kick away the knight, and it feels like he'll be gaining space soon. So I like that white has managed to... Whoa! Guys. What's the story with g4? g4. g4 and game over. Come on, g4 a second ago. Instead of b4. g4 just slicing away over here. I think that would have been winning a piece. Panageo misses it. And I think if you don't take your chance, suddenly there's a little mate threat. If you want to get out of it, you're losing the exchange. And you really need to hope that c takes d is a lot of compensation, because you're going to be down the exchange. Knight check, king moves to try and play with tempo. You can't even do that, so no point in moving the king away. So let's say g3 check, king g2 takes, with checks, so rook takes, and then Roberto might just respond to the threat. Roberto just picking up the exchange. As I was saying, he picks it up with tempo, so if you could avoid that somehow, then maybe this could have been coming a bit quicker. Picks up another pawn. Panageo really should have found that g4 move if he wanted to make something out of that game. Whoa! There's still an en passant though. Usually when the pawn gets here, you know you can move your pawn to go past it, but now there's still an en passant. And Panageo, what is this man doing now? Wait a minute, what about bishop f6 check? Can't the queen come in both via these two squares? We're gonna see what this means. I think at most that's a perpetual. Although you can also use your knight now. You can use your knight. Okay, so you can go back for that. Go back for it and use your knight. You've got some time, Panageo. You can... Ooh. Wait a minute. This is even better. Sorry. Don't use the knight. Black resigns here. Simply queen and mate. Nice win there by Panageo. So, I'm going to mark my words. He did not need to be sad about missing that b4 stuff. The Frenchie goes down again. 85, 68, 68. Matt is not in peak form at the moment, losing against Wildcard 1659. I don't know who Wildcard is, but seem to have drawn a wildcard against him. So let's, I think we should follow up on my friend from KZN. Oh, that is a KZN player. Wildcard that has just taken down Matt. 2235 rating. This guy is also, he's the real deal when it comes to blitz. Let's watch the end of this game, where he's, I'm going to say black is slightly better, but the time disadvantage seems to prefer white. Black is better because this pawn is already kind of going off the board. Wait a minute. How come that took so long to move? I'm not understanding this. He's using too much time. He needs to set up the mate threat quickly. Set up the mate threat. But, oh, so there's a kind of like a lag happening at the moment. Because he has been moving and then the time will go back. So, I don't know. My connection is bad. My connection is excellent. So it's probably a lag from his side. Now, wildcard 5 seconds versus those 2 minutes. I doubt this. He's taken down my pawn though, so it wouldn't be the biggest surprise. And 2 seconds though, I don't think we will know when he's been flagged. Because he's check, take check, and go back. Okay. Well, he's been flagged? And the game's still going on. I have no idea what's happening, guys. Wildcard with no time on the clock. He made a move and then got flagged. Maybe he was playing with some lag and the computer decided that's it. We're just going to flag you after... I'm going to flag you in your opponent's move. So you're going to play a timeout and make a move at the same time or something. But it's been notated over there. E1 equals queen. Check. But timeout. Black is victorious. Timeout. Black is victorious. Oh, wildcard. Oh no, I see now. Sorry, I got so confused now because the king... It's white that ran out of time, not black. Rapello made the queen. Okay, I'm losing my mind a bit over here. 85, 71, let's go back to Roberto. Playing against Dan Frank, 99. I think Dan Frank the strongest Western Cape player so far, and there's a big imbalance at the moment. Queen and bishop versus rook, knight and pawn. Okay, Roberto is going to push through with this game, especially after this last move. F takes E. And that diagonal opening, that king is going to be very exposed. And yeah, this is going to be a simple win for him now. King F8, just simply queen here, and that's 2 moves from mate. Roberto blundering another mate in 2. Come on, guys. He's still winning. It's not like he's blundering the whole game, but... Queen b4 check. That would have been it. Now he still needs to figure this out. Yeah, he could have taken that rook, by the way. But he's just messing with the guy now. Just torturing him. Okay, back to the tournament. Real French, he's going to get 3 for that win. Matt Pons, 71. Schwarzenegger, 68. Craig Willenberg, 55. Doing well over there. Schwarzenegger, Nachi. I don't know, 24 minutes. Is this enough time for the Nachi to catch up with his buddy? I don't know. His friend is just on fire today. So today will be the Roberto tournament. G4. And wow. Can say play bishop takes h7, queen d3, and try and play with this little diagonal over here that's going to just expose the king completely. The rook moves back, check, and then something even like knight h3 of king f8, just to get rook f1. It's looking very painful. Very painful indeed for black, even though he's up 2 pawns. Those 2 pawns have moved like this and like this, opening up the king. Knight e2, as I expected, and castle's actually it's a way more fancy way to bring the rook to f1. And this is game over. Bishop g7. Wait, rook takes. Yeah, sorry. I was like, what's the move there? What's the legal move? Couldn't find it. Couldn't take with the bishop. So, loses the queen. Gonna resign. Not going to resign. Going to continue on. Because the queen is... Okay. But Roberto is getting this game. I don't know if we should continue watching. This is pretty painful. His opponent should be resigning. Knight takes and... oh, now that knight goes. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Even if you take that rook, it's just another rook. And more pressure on f6. This is completely over. Game over. He'll get the game. Matt Pon playing against Wildcard, the KwaZulu-Natal player. Do you guys know who Wildcard is, by the way? Because he's up the exchange, but it looks very crazy over here. Equal on the clock. Matt with an invasive knight, but don't know if he can achieve anything more with a knight. He's got another knight that might want to enter, but even that... okay, rook g6, is that a threat? Okay, Matt's setting up a crazy attack over here. Really? Knight takes e5. Defensive move. Oh, you've got... rook takes as well. Knight takes... king h6. Wow, where's this going, guys? I feel kind of blind, like there's a lot of stuff happening. I don't know what to look at, but I think Matt actually blundered. He'll need to go queen h4 now. Because I don't think there's a real mating pattern over here. Ooh. Check, king. The king is very, very nimble in this position. This check, this check, this check. There's just a lot going on. I don't know, black shouldn't have gambited that knight for this. He was doing alright. He just needs to find a move now, but he's going down on the clock, so I guess that's the only thing Matt really wanted. So, okay, so he's trying to just trap the king, and you need to take the knight whilst it's mate, and in that case it's going to be mate as well. Matt finding the mating idea. Let's go back. This was just crazy. What happened? +7? And I don't know how Matt evaluates positions like these. Rook takes h3 check apparently is the drawing continuation. Because if king takes, there's rook a8, h8, and g takes queen a2 check. Together with a knight, there should be a perpetual from g1. So there you go guys. Good luck finding rook takes h3 as black, and sometimes that's all you need to do. Find a situation where your opponent's got like a more difficult defense than your attack is easy, something like that. Show e2 up material against the star of today, Roberto. But losing that material back, sorry, we just tuned in during a big trade-off. A trade down, queen h7 being threatened, g6 necessary, and Shoei will be taking this game. This player has been playing well. Wow. A3 trying to swindle. Whenever there's still material on the board, Roberto will try and swindle the situation somehow, threatening mate and trying to get the rook in, but I don't think the rook even enters, so there's not much to worry about. Maybe queen check first and then something else. Blunders rook b8. Is his opponent going to see it? If he doesn't see it, then there's not much to hope for, and this is game over. Okay. Little sneaky rook b8 there, trying to slip in the pieces. 18 minutes ago, KZN doing really well, Joburg Metro as well. This is going to be a neck-on-neck between second and third, with the Western Cape taking a substantial lead of 70 points over Joburg Metro. And that's because it's top 20 players. If it was top 10, it would be a different story, but then participation would be less. Or not even really. Where are the other Joburg Metro players? No, Western Cape very close to each other. Top 10, very consistent. Craig Willenberg busy leading them at the moment. Matt Pond 74 with fire. Let's jump to his game. Trying to ease up that lead between him and his friend. Playing against a Southie. Upper rook. And I think this game will also be over quite soon. Yeah, I think this game is not going to last too long anymore. Rook takes, then queen takes a5, so rook d5, and just king h7. He will untangle this situation, and suddenly there will be a rook on the g file, an extra rook, and the queen is also pretty close by. Whatever, like it'll just happen. Yeah, like this, and then like this. This is pretty much what we're looking at now. Don't know if a Southie can try something else, but this looks pretty bad for him. Queen f4. No. Queen c6. Setting the knight. Ach, the bishop. Disguised. A knight disguised as a bishop. That's why I'm getting it wrong. I was considering something like rook takes as some kind of tactic, and Matt doesn't even want the queen. He could have gone for it, by the way, and just trades and gets the game. 74 fire 91. Still a big lead. That's no, not too much. It's 12 points, 16 minutes. We have seen Matt Pon pick up a few points in these last moments of the tournament, and consistency is key. And looks kind of like he wants to start an adoption of Mr. Dalpat, playing for Nelson Mandela Bay. He is 4 games away from an adoption, so he has already given in the paperwork for the adoption. And I'm not going to accept the challenges now. I'm busy spectating an event. It's the Abdu. But welcome to the stream if you are watching. Bishop d7. And castles. Queenside castle. And very aggressive. He's up a piece. I missed when that happened. Gives back the piece. Not really. Oh, there was a discovery. And finds a way to pick up a piece. Ooh. These moves hurt. Bishop b5, pinning the rook. Queen takes as well as possible, but probably go bishop takes. Oh no, queen takes. And queen takes pawn or something. What? He just wants to make room for the rook to go to g8. So he's like, I'll just put this bishop right here. I don't need it to be anywhere else. And now it's an attacking piece. It's helping me deliver mate. It was all about just getting the rook to g8. Okay, nice stuff. Quick win over there. That's going to mean 84. 10 points away. Meanwhile, Roberto also just quickly took a point against Charles M. Playing a tough game against Craig Willenberg. If Craig takes him down, then his podium chances have been lowered, especially in these last minutes when Matt Pon seems to have more energy than him, and dare I say experience. I don't know. Dare I say it. Don't take the pawn. Knight g4 check. Now check, and there's another check, but I'm not seeing anything that ends the game. So he might like the tension of being able to do that at a different moment when it suits him more. Meanwhile, the king is completely cut off and boxed. So this is looking better for white. Can't completely say. Just the 2 rooks that are kind of involved versus this one that, for the time being, since the king is cut off, can't do much. And where's the tactic now? Can he please show us the tactic? Oh, there doesn't need to be a tactic. Ooh. Creative find. I'd rather trade and keep this pawn than have to part ways with this stunning knight. Rook check, king here. Okay, so Craig is going to win a piece and This is good news for Matt, at least. I don't really know if it's good news. If they're playing in a team, I guess it's bad news. But they are racing against each other. You definitely feel that. So definitely racing against each other. So there's a bit of that tension going on as well. But you want to get as many points as possible as a team. So you don't really want to ruin your opponent's chances. Whoa! Wait a minute. If this king gets close enough to b4, imagine a situation where the king's there and the rook's here. No, too many situations that you need to imagine. So obviously it doesn't work. Yeah, that is kind of a situation that Roberto wanted. Don't take the rook, but he can do it now. He'll be in time to stop the pawn, and that's what he will be doing. Running the king over, and white resigns. Roberto goes down towards the end here of the tournament. More losses than this huge streak he had in the beginning. Meanwhile, Matt is not completely catching up. He drew against Panageo. Don't know why. And now he's playing against Kenny Willenberg. Let's look at this game. Kenny Willenberg against Matt Pon. And let's see what happened. Some very aggressive h4 stuff, typical maneuvering on the flank of the Nachi. And this is where we are at. Kenny up 2 pawns. Sneaky pawn grabbed over there. And his position looks fine. I think Kenny can take this. Bad news for Mr. Matt. And white just resigns. He's like, there goes another pawn. I hate myself so much for blundering 3 pawns. I'm going to throw in the towel. I'll just take a queen, and then I'll throw in the towel. Okay, so Matt and Roberto neck on neck ready. 10 minutes to go. That means they really need to pick their battles now if they want to make as many points as possible. So let's keep both of their TVs open. It's going to be very fun, at least for the next game, and then we'll jump into the different view where at least we can see the team standings towards the end. So, okay, so I'm being a bad commentator at the moment. Let's just quickly see the team standings. 701, 611, 6-4. Neck on neck over there, KZN. Nelson Mandela, 551. Top 3, or second place is being like competed over, so very close over there. Very, very close. And Matt Pon looking quite aggressive. Maybe if h4 was in the position, then I'd like him much more. He'll probably play h4 now. There we go, to get the bishop to h6. Defends his other bishop. Dan Frank, the real Frenchie. This game flew by. I think the Frenchie is also aiming to get a lot of points at the moment. So we'll finish this game and move into the different view of the screen to watch those last minutes go by as KZN and Joburg Metro and Nelson Mandela Bay are fighting for that second place. KZN really astounding us today. Did not really expect them to do so well on their first try. This tournament is tricky. Okay, so rook f2 is being planned. I was thinking, yeah, if you could get rook f2, then this is obviously a threat because the other knight can't take because of the pin. But now he trades. He's down 2 pawns, actually. Whoa, man. Be careful. Oh. Whoa. Come on, guys. I need to be careful. What am I? I was like, ooh, in what direction does this pawn move, Matt? But I saw it's queen that's defending. Queen helping defend f8, threatening stuff like this. Still doing the same, but his opponent can continue annoying him and try and play up 2 pawns. Opponent moves away. Very, very nice idea just to get out of this awkward situation. Nice counter attack. The queen doesn't have many squares to go to hold on to the rook. So Matt trades into an endgame where he's going to be down. That's not much. His opponent can move away. There's no mating threat. Goes for the piece instead of the pawn. Becoming a bit greedy here towards the end. And now he will... Okay. I don't know. Maybe he's just playing really well. It feels slightly greedy. Like, he's trying to just go for a mate quickly. 8 minutes, he's very frustrated. Not playing like he did earlier on in the tournament when he had all the time in the world to try and get that lead. So kind of desperate attempts over here at the moment. Attempts out of desperation, making attacks that aren't there, so superficially trying to mate his opponent. But he's going to end up playing the endgame now, so wasted a bit of time over there. And going into an endgame where he's definitely slightly better, but he could have curated a different type of advantage, I feel. I don't know, it feels like I'm just talking nonsense now. And it's almost time for the USAs. Let's chess tournament. I haven't actually set up the stream yet. That is going to start. I think I'm just going to take a 5-minute break. I'll start the USAs Blitz as soon as that stream's set up. So we'll take a look at the standings now, and then the USAs will start. It's unfortunate they made the two events so close to one another. Okay, finally a move by his opponent. I think his opponent was afraid somehow the rook, I don't know, some kind of back rank might happen. So his opponent's holding on. This is doing a decent job. When you play an opponent about 400 rating points above you. Wait, am I even doing the maths right? That's 500 points. Close to 500. Then holding. Okay, there's a bit of a blunder. Wasn't necessary to go running with a pawn. Should be trying to make a draw by now. Matt is going to win now. He's got 2 pass pawns on the queen side. I don't know what Roberto is up to. Let's see over here. Roberto playing against Craig again. Getting difficult pairings on 97. So there will be no catching up with Roberto anymore, even though the Nachi will be winning. And actually Joburg Metro players playing huge scores over here. Let's see the final standings for the last 5 minutes. So we just pretty much watching paint dry kind of for the next 5 minutes. Not exactly. It's great to see KwaZulu-Natal with that 10-point lead over there over Joburg Metro. When we were watching just now, it wasn't. They were just behind them. So the last few seconds they've overtaken them, and I think it's got a lot to do with the real Frenchie and Matt Pon not getting the score they should be getting in these last few moments. Yeah, 6:51, 6:45. Joburg Metro is not too far away, but what's really interesting is the fact that Nelson Mandela Bay was about 10 points behind them just now, and they've completely fallen away. So there's suddenly a 60-point gap over there. 7:39 for the Western Cape, completely in the lead. 7:45, gonna make it a 100-point lead. Show KwaZulu-Natal that, okay, you guys are new to this. We're still that much better than you. Although 6:56, 6:45. I'm thinking second place will go to KZN. This is a neck-on-neck ending. I don't know. 11 points, 3 minutes. We've seen a lot of things happening there. Meanwhile, you can kind of see them in the corner of my screen, just above my head now. Craig versus the Frenchie, and the Frenchie will be getting a win. I think that's 3 points because it's been a berserk game. He's getting that pawn as well. Let's see, that square over there can't be accessed by the rook. If you can still follow my mouse, because because the bishop's covering it. And there's no check currently for Craig, so he'll be dropping this pawn, and probably this pawn next. So therefore he resigns, giving what 100 points to the real Frenchie. I don't know if anyone expected 100 points for him going into this. I certainly did not. Mat pawn on 89, 2 minutes 40 to go, 11 points to catch up with. That's simply not going to happen. Wonder what his performance is at the moment. Real Frenchie, let's see. Okay, sorry. See if I can see his performance. 2290. It's not that high. 2384, Mat pawn. A huge performance, but Berserk rate 85 and Berserk rate 73. So Roberto's not even berserking as much as Mat pawn is. It's super weird that he's getting way more points than he is. Louis Havenga and Roberto in the game over there. 667, 654. Very close over here. Very close. There we go. Minute 42 to go. Minute 40. Going to be a tough ending. For, well, most sides that are actually playing. It's going to be really a neck on neck ending. And actually my USA's tournament is starting in a minute 16, just as this tournament's ending. Adolf is saying I'm streaming, therefore you guys should play extra strong against me in the upcoming tournament. I think I'll quickly just we don't even have a full team. So I quickly need to set up the next stream. Okay. Let's see the final moments here of the Corona Chessboard team battle. 20 seconds to go. Eight seconds. 662. KZN will be taking this one. And we'll see the final standings. 3, 2, 1. Well done to KZN for taking that second place. Western Cape, everyone that competed, especially Roberto with 100 points, Mat pawn. This was a great performance by everyone, well played. And I'll see you guys right now for the SA University stream. So just stay on my channel. I'm going to create a new stream now. So see you guys now.